Chase Sexton's kind of on a roll right now. Not kinda, he is on a roll. The big gaps come from where you are in the season, guys not being able to be as strong at the end of the moto, Chase waiting to the end of the moto, and all of a sudden those things flip. Like, I'm going to the gate, don't really matter where I start at, don't matter who's out front, I'm going to win. You got one guy up there like trying to make it, and the other guy out there knowing he's going to make it, and that combination is deadly if you ain't the guy that's making it happen. My dad used to always tell me, if you don't think you see the checkered flag, well, run until you do. Well, that's what Chase did. And so for him, he wants to win. He wants to win twice. That's how dominant the dude is. He wants to win so much. He gets a checkered flag, realize he didn't get the checkered flag because they gave him the checkered flag. He didn't see it. He wanted to get another checkered flag. That's how much he want to win. He didn't let nobody do it. I mean, Washougal is one of those racetracks that is really easy to override. So guys who's able to ride with momentum and okay with not seeing for a little bit, they do pretty good.
Little James, Bubba,
Duck to you in the AMA Hall of Fame.
But Stewart has found a way to redefine his whole race course.
Oh my goodness!
Fastest guy I've ever seen on a bike.
Will win his second world championship.
you can call him whatever you want. He'll still kick your ass every Sunday.
What's up, guys? You know who it is, your boy JS7, and you know where we at. The Rewind Show, baby, from round 8, Pro Motocross, Washougal, Washington. 4-week stretch. These boys are tired. I remember when I got here, I was tired. You can see it this weekend. These guys was holding on. Everybody did a good job on getting out there. It's not like the track's already hard enough, like literally going in and out the shadows. You can't see anything and you're tired. It's a struggle, but you know what happened. Chase Sexton went 1-1 again, dominated the kids on the roll, and it was the return of the danger zone. You know you don't want those guys going into that 2-week break with any kind of confidence, and you showed up. But there was a lot of other stuff that happened, so you know what we got to do. From round 8, Pro Motocross, let's do it. So coming in this weekend, we saw in the 450 class, it's been Chase Sexton, and then Hunter Lawrence and everybody else. I paused because, you know, that's kind of the gap. Chase Sexton's kind of on a roll right now. Not kind of, he is on a roll. And you saw this coming. I don't know if we really kind of saw it coming, but if you look back at round 2, you saw something coming. But this version of Chase Sexton, you saw it coming if you knew what you were looking for. In Supercross, you saw the struggle in the beginning part of the season, but there was something about it that I actually liked it. I actually felt like with Chase, he was in the zone, and if he could figure it out, I've been saying it all year, if he can figure out how to go fast, it was going to be different. And now you're starting to see it. Yes, we all make mistakes. He fell over in the first moto, but the confidence, the way he rides, the dude knows he's going to win. I said it last weekend. He knows he's going to win. You know he's going to win. Your mama knows he's going to win. Your grandma, everybody knows he's going to win. And he goes out there and wins. But more than that, it's the belief inside that he truly, I think he really knows he's going to win. And that puts him in a spot that I said, you ain't never going to beat that guy like that. And when he went down in the first moto, you thought maybe if they had a chance, it was going to be that race. Why? Because when you look at Washougal, it's kind of a hard racetrack to pass. A lot of that comes from just the way the switchbacks, and when they have that section before the finish line when you go through the whoops, all those switchbacks, they kind of narrowed that up. And it used to be where it was a little bit more open, where you can kind of go outside or charge down the hills. Now it's really tight. So with the, you know, they go the little S corners, you can go from the inside, outside, cross somebody, and they really can't pass you. And the shadows, so it's kind of hard to really push. You see a lot of crashes in that little roller right before you turn and go right and go into the whoops, just because guys can't see. So Washougal is notorious, like there's a few places to pass, but it's really hard. So when Chase went down that first moto, it was the time for somebody else to try to get out and win. Aaron Plessner was kind of the only guy up for the fight. I mean, Jason Anderson rode good. Justin Cooper rode good. Hunter Lawrence, he rode solid. He was just tired. I mean, facts. The guy was just tired, as they all were. But that first moto, you kind of had a sense of with the track and how it was going to be. If somebody can do it, it was just going to be hard to make that time up and make those passes. But it didn't matter. Chase Sexton just had better lines, literally. He was going around dudes on the outside. And it was weird because his confidence in the way he rides, it's like, even if he's kind of stuck and, behind a guy, that guy knows eventually he's going to get around him. So they don't really put up a lot of, like, a big fight because they kind of know what's going to happen. I think what you would see is when guys get closer to, like, what happened at that first moto with Plessinger, when they look up and they're like, all right, there's like 3 laps left. I might be able to, like, hold this on. They'll put up a fight there. But if it's like 5-6 laps, they don't really fight them because they kind of know it's going to be hard to hold on. And this ain't even like a knock towards anyone, because I was in that spot. I mean, I was in that spot with Ricky. There was just some races that I knew, especially in that middle part of the season where you're just like, dude, it's a grind. It's a grind. You're just trying to get off. And now after these 2 weeks, you'll see guys a little bit more motivated the last 3 races, and then going into the playoffs especially, they'll have a little bit more fight. But this grind right here, it's like the mid-season, before All-Star break, or like, mid-season before your bye week in football. Like, guys are just trying to get to it, and that's it. And they're doing their best, but it's been a long season, and I think people kind of forget how long it's been. I mean, these dudes have been going since January, and guys has actually been able to race every race, or even for the rookies, this is new for them. So you get to this part of the season, and unless it's like a few laps left, you just try your best, and you're like, all right, whatever. And that's kind of what you see. We saw last weekend with Hunter Lawrence going outside the second moto, and then, this weekend, like, there really wasn't too much fight, just because the grind in the season, and that's to be expected, and especially for a guy like Hunter Lawrence being his first year in the 450 class, it's just a lot longer. But nonetheless, you have other guys, that's, again, they're fighting. It's just certain parts of the race. So Chase Sexton knows that. They know that. And so I think it puts him in a really good spot, because even though he'll make mistakes and it almost look like he might lose a front end, like, because of track slippery. That's it. That's because of track slippery. They always losing the front end. Everybody be losing the front end. No point intended. But he almost lose it. But there's just a confidence about him that he's able to ride in a zone that's really relaxed. And I talked about it a little bit last week, is that the only difference between, the guys that he's racing right now and, possibly with Jet Lawrence, is that if Chase Sexton would have fell like he did that first moto, I don't know if he would have caught Jet. Just because Jet's so spunky in the beginning part of the race. Maybe Chase maybe would have been faster, but I think Jet just puts that part on him because he's just better in the beginning part of the race, and then he manages. If all is all, like, and they're racing straight up, then it's going to be a race. But right now, with the field the way it is, and everybody's obviously trying to get to this break, and they're fighting for different reasons, then I think it makes it not easy, because Chase has to go out there and do it. I just think it makes him know that eventually he's going to get there. So he's not going to put himself in the spot. When you look at the race, and especially, let's just say the first moto, whatnot, Chase, it's like that local moto. Like, I think his plan is, just like he did last weekend, just get to halfway, see those guys out front, I'm going to come back. Because what happens is, I think he knows that, okay, I'm saving that energy. They're not getting away. And they kind of know, like, maybe they don't believe that they're, for whatever reason, just the long season, maybe they're sick. Last couple of weeks, I don't think they believe they can finish the race as strong as they started it, obviously. And Chase feels like he can. And so it's like he's riding, waiting for 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes is getting there. Even if I run the same pace, their pace is going to drop. And if I pick it up just a little bit, then you're going to all of a sudden, if their pace drops a second, 2 seconds, and I just go a second faster, then all of a sudden you got like 4 seconds lap. And it ain't really doing that much. And that's why I think you see when he's out there racing, what we saw last weekend, and then here, it's like when he passes, dude, he be gone. Like, he be gone. AP did a good job at keeping him honest in that first moto, but I think a lot of that was AP went off the track. AP was actually trying to win the race. AP is in a different spot than I would even say Hunter Lawrence. And like I mentioned, like, he got into that 2-3 laps left where he's like, all right, I might be able to win this race. And AP's, you know how he is. He just like, yeah, whatever. Like, he don't really care. So being that and Washougal making that time up, I think AP was able to stay close. But that second moto was just a different story. And overall, my point is that the big gaps come from where you are in the season, guys not being able to be as strong at the end of the moto, Chase waiting to the end of the moto, and all of a sudden those things flip. So nonetheless, Chase is riding with a confidence that I don't think he's ever had, even in the 250 class at any point. He is the guy, and he is every week. He's just getting stronger and stronger to when I think Jet Lawrence gets back and everybody else gets back. Like, he's going to have a confidence about him because he was able to beat Jet Lawrence before he went out. He's going to have a confidence about him that it's going to be the best version. And then obviously it's going to be up to those guys that's coming off injury to kind of stop this. What we saw with Jet Lawrence last year, first race, he was able to beat Chase. Second race, you know, Chase had his issues. Chase went out. And then Jet built, he kept winning races, got more and more confidence. And then when Chase got back, he had that confidence. What I'm saying about Chase, I think that's what's going to happen with him. He's able to win these races without Jet, and he's building all that confidence that he needs to be able to go fast and do his thing. And then so when Jet comes back, he's going to be at this level where he's like, I can't be beat because nobody's been able to beat me. Jet's going to come back off the injury. It's just going to be a different feel. He's going to have to build just like Chase did. And I wouldn't be surprised if what we saw last year, between those two, it's just flipped in the opposite of Chase just in the beginning until Jet gets back and they start going. Only because how long and the confidence of a rider like Chase, his bike looks good. He looks good. And as I said, he's riding knowing that he's going to win and he's not put in the spot. And I think the way he feels and the way he looks, when you start beating anybody, I mean, I could beat Grandma. If I took her up to Dade City and I worked her, it's a win to me. So it's a win. And not taking anything from Chase, because if y'all do, y'all are stupid, because he's out there doing his thing. He's just going to feel like he can beat anyone. And he's already beat everyone. And so I think he'll feel just like Jet did when Chase came back. It's going to be very important for that first race. He's going to come back and just feel like he can beat anybody because he's done it. And that's going to be hard to beat. So Chase Sexton, I mean, ain't really too much to say. He's got a plan. He's executing. Those guys know they have a plan. We saw Hunter Lawrence talk about, like, man, he was just tired. Other guys are just tired. I mean, Chase probably was tired too. It's just the grind of the season. But right now, that number 4 is dominating, and it's going to be awesome to see how he finishes the season off, and obviously see how he finishes when Jet Lawrence and the rest of those guys come back. Because right now, dude's unbeatable. Straight up, he's unbeatable. Like I said, if they were going to get him, it was going to be that first motor in Washougal, and they weren't able to close that door. All right, I'm going to talk about Hunter Lawrence a little bit. I think the dude's doing good, honestly. Like, I think what happened at Red Bud, it was the first moto. He was pushing it. Kind of reminds me a little bit what happened in 2006 with RC. Like, I was able to win Hangtown. I think I went like 2-1 or something, or 1-2. And then I came at High Point, and it was that first moto, and it was the first time we actually went at it. I was on the 450 that time, and I got to the point where I feel like in my mind, like I was able to break him. Like, we battled the whole moto, and then it was like like 3 laps to go, I started pulling the gap. I could tell, like, he was like, all right, first moto, he's got me. And then I went out and went sleep. I went sleep, 2-lap board, went sleep right afterwards. But my whole point of that, I think that's what happened at Red Bud. Like, when you look at Hunter Lawrence, it was like, okay, Jet was out. He rode that first moto as if, like, he knew he needed to go out there and win that race. And he was all in. And there was a point to where he was starting to pull that gap a little bit. You could say, you know, Chase was closing in. Chase made a mistake. But there was only like 3 laps left or something. I think Hunter Lawrence had a really good chance to win that race. And then he goes down. But it reminded me of when that 2006, like how when I went down, it changed my whole season. I think that's what's happened with Hunter Lawrence. Like, if he was somehow able to win that race, I think this season would look different. You know, he would have that confidence of being able to beat Chase straight up. And he wouldn't feel like, okay, when I push that level, I can win the race. Where I think now he pushes that level, he just remembers going down and how hard it was. And then I think he has a little bit of injuries from that. Being that it's his first year in the 450 class, it's starting to wear on him. All these guys, I think a lot of that just comes from what you're seeing right now is the results of what happened at first moto. And that, look, I'm trying to beat him a multitude of different ways. I try to go fast in the beginning. I try to lay back. And because he wasn't able to finish that race off, because he went down the way he was, I think that's what you're starting to see. And now you're starting to see him, like, once you kind of do that spiral of the mental game of, once you kind of get tired in the middle part of the season and then it happens again, let's say it happens again, you start going to the gate, like, racing, trying not to get tired, really. I mean, at least that's how I was. I was racing not to get tired. And what I ended up doing was making myself tired already. Like, mentally, I was so worried about getting tired that I was tired. And not saying Hunter is doing that, but when you start looking at the results and how the last couple of weeks, the fact is it was a little warmer. These are tough tracks. Washougal is a tough track. Like, even though it's not the roughest track, it's a real tough racetrack. And because of all I said earlier, visions and how you see, and this year was hot, being where it is on the schedule towards the end of the season, it's just a real tough racetrack. So you're starting to see him have clearly the second best guy. And now, I mean, if he doesn't get a good start, I mean, he's got, 4 or 5, like, just an off weekend. And I think overall, he riding all right. He went from being second best guy to, like, now he's like the 4th, 5th place when he doesn't get a good start. And this weekend in particular with Hunter, that first moto, he didn't have no energy. Like, he didn't have no energy. I bet he probably felt better the second moto, but yeah, you can just tell, like, he's already, I would say maybe if I was riding like that, I was going to the gate, I was already tired. I was rested and I was tired. I was tired before I even got tired. And it's a mental thing, and a lot of that just comes from the wear of the season. Everybody goes through it. RC went through it. McGrath went through it. Chase went through it. It's just the way the game is. But when guys start going the other way, it's just hard. And now, being what Hunter Lawrence is, and he was like, man, like, on my best day, I got to put my best foot forward to beat this dude. Dude's got all this confidence. It's hard going to the gate when you're like, all right, I got to manage this race instead of being able to go out there and freewheel it. And I think that's the difference between him and Chase. Chase is kind of going out there, like, knowing, like, you going to the gate, how I felt in, 08 and stuff. Like, I'm going to the gate. Don't really matter where I start at. Don't matter who's out front. I'm going to win because I'm the strongest guy. I was super fit. I mean, I was always fit, but not that fit. I guess I knew I was fit. And when you know you fit and you know you're the fastest, you know everybody else, like, knows that. And they just a different level. So you got one guy up there, like, trying to make it, and the other guy out there knowing he's going to make it. And that combination is deadly if you ain't the guy that's making it happen. And that's what you end up seeing. So Hunter Lawrence is doing a great job. I think second in championship, he's got to hold his head up. And I think with him, the last 3 races, maybe getting his brother back or one of those, but the last 3 races, I think he'll be pretty good. He'll want to finish this thing off strong. And I do believe he'll get an overall win. It's just right now, what we saw at Washougal was probably a really tough race for him. And there's really nothing else he can do about it besides rest up and just go back. Just hopefully for him, as hard as it is, he's just got to kind of let it go. Like, it's racing. It's the way it is. So, Hunter Lawrence, good job. Justin Cooper, I don't know if he was paddle tiring or what. Justin Cooper looked good. You already know Washougal is a good place. I think he's had a lot of success here. Justin Cooper was solid, man. Like, he was really good. A lot of these guys, AP was solid. I mean, Washougal is one of those racetracks that is really easy to override. So guys who's able to ride with momentum and okay when not seeing for a little bit, they do pretty good. And Justin Cooper did a good job this weekend. So you saw it building for the second moto last weekend, and we always knew that he had the speed. I just think with Coop, he's just got to continue going. And obviously with that second moto going down, he still rode really good. Justin, Jason Anderson, El Hombre, I think with him, we already kind of knew he was going to do good. Bike works good. Kawasaki works, it's not great anywhere, but it's pretty damn good everywhere. That's kind of how I see it. Jason always does good on hard pack tracks. The Kawasaki works great on hard pack tracks. And for Siggy's daddy, she might have even been there. She might have even been there for Siggy's daddy. It was good that he was on the podium. It's crazy to think that was his first one of the season. Like, all right. But then when you start looking at the podium, it was pretty busy with them red bikes. And side fact, it was crazy to think that Honda's had all these podiums in a row. What it was since 2021 or something, long ass time ago. Honda's been on the podium. So that's how dominant they've been. They probably didn't even know what to do. They probably went down to the podium like, oh, we ain't here. We ain't here. But far East Coast, he was on the podium. So, hey, he held it on. Nonetheless, Honda's doing good. The rest of those guys, they're doing good. And definitely it's Bobby's daddy. I mean, Siggy's daddy. It was nice to see him on there. And, of course, with AP up there. So that was it. But you know what the one thing is? It's fun for Chase. Like, I know it's fun. You can say it. Like, you can say it. I'll say it for you, bro. I'll say it. It's fun. It's fun. And especially when you get down to the season, like where you are, everybody else feeling it. You feeling it. And you're like, it's tired because it's a long ass season. Like, it's long. Like, I'm not even racing and I'm tired. And I'm like, I didn't even have to travel this weekend and I'm tired. So I was like, man, I'm glad I'm like worn out. Like, I'm worn out. I'm jet lagged. Jay, you didn't even get on the jet this weekend. I know, but mentally, I was there. But it's fun. My point is, it was fun. I remember getting to Washougal in 2008 and we're like, damn, this is so fun. I'm so tired right now, but I know they tired. And it was a fun day of racing. It went 1-1. But that's where Chase is. That's where Chase is. And even though he ran that extra lap, like, he was in the zone. And for young kids out there, I'm going to say this. He is the definition of don't look too far ahead. Like, one step at a time. And I'm not making a joke at all. I'm just saying, like, he looking out. My dad used to always tell me, if you don't think you see the checkered flag, well, run until you do. Well, that's what Chase did. And so for him, he wants to win. He wants to win twice. That's how dominant the dude is. He wants to win so much. He gets a checkered flag, realize he didn't get the checkered flag because they gave him a checkered flag. He didn't see it. He wanted to get another checkered flag. That's how much he want to win. He didn't let nobody do it. At some point, I thought maybe he'd be like, damn, like, it ain't nobody out here. And he said that after the finish, he was like, man, I look back. I was like, I didn't think I beat that dude that much, but you did. You did. Well, they was on the podium because they couldn't even last. They didn't even want to do that extra lap. You did. But what you keep doing is the third one in a row, and it's beautiful. I think you got, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a lot of race wins. Well, Chase, keep your head down because when you look up, all you see is number 1, and that's all that matters. So Chase Sexton, again, just like last weekend, hit it for him, please. Yes. Now, it's time to go ahead and get that whooping. A whooping. Just like Jet Lawrence, he's going to get that whooping on the course, but he messed his hand up, so he bowed out. We talked last weekend, said the brakes off, we're going golfing. So we're on the plane. Where you at, son? I expect my phone. Maybe you were the one that just texted me right now. Well, anyways, we're going golfing, and we're going to be good. You're going to lose there, but hey, you winning everywhere else. Chase Sexton, good job. All right, 250 class. Now, it was starting to look like nothing. Dangerboy. When you start thinking, all right, let's go back a couple races. Let's go back to Redbud. He had a weekend. I'm not even going to say an off weekend because that'd be disrespectful. But, okay, maybe I'll say an off weekend. It's an off weekend for Dangerboy because dude he just dominant. And I'm going to back up even farther than that. Remember in Supercross, I was telling you that I was like, man, something looks different with him. Like his riding style. I was like, something looks different. I think we were around Indy or whatever race. I was like, nah, it's like he went off on that break and came back. He looked different. Like just his riding style, more free and stuff. Well, you get through the outdoors and dude's good, clearly. And then he had a couple off weekends, right? Weekends that he didn't go 1-1. Weekends that he didn't slap everybody. Then he goes into last weekend at Millville, and then the first race, he going down the start like, doing that. And then he lost. But then he was like still there. That's how good the dude is, right? Two things. The dude's good when you consider the last 6 motos, and he's been struggling to his standard. Look how many points he lost. Like, he didn't. He actually gained them. And when I mentioned last weekend, I said sometimes when you're rolling and when you go down the first corner, you got to kick the pipe back. And then your competition, second and third in points, they out. You just feel like it's just meant to be. It's just meant to be. But besides that, it was this kid's 1-year anniversary. So you knew he was going to show up. He was going to get the biggest presents. He was probably going to have a carousel, probably going to have horses, ponies, everybody for the birthday party because it was this weekend. But all joking aside, the dude's gotten better, not only like confidence-wise, but he's gotten better his riding style, which makes him dangerous. Yes, he's always been in the danger zone. Yeah, they always been in the danger zone. He's always been like fast. He's always been strong. But right now, he's actually learning. You can see him picking up tips from the guys that he rides with. You can see him last at Southwick. I said he had a little head lean like Eli, because he was around with Eli. Now you see him like he's jumping stuff. And now I just go back to the difference that I made in riding style when I didn't really change too much in 2002 to 2003. It was my riding style like changed quite a bit, and it started changing at the end of 2002. I don't even know what it was. Besides, I was just winning. It's not like I was like, okay, I need to change. But because I was winning, I still wanted to get better, and I just evolved as a rider to where like it just looked different. Well, my whole point with Haiden is that this championship, like, he just got to keep doing this thing. He's always been the strongest dude, but he's looking different. And on the technical track like Washougal, you can start to see how technical the dude is, and it wasn't there last year. I mean, he has some things that he did, but now it's like he's evolving as a rider, and it makes you like start looking that he might be like a lot better than we thought he was. Like, better than he thought he was. Why? Because we already knew he was good, but because like he's evolving as a rider. Anybody that wins, they evolve. But some guys, when they win, and maybe it's harder for some to see it, but watch the way he rode last year and watch the way he rides this year. Even just watch the beginning part of the outdoor season. The juice evolving as a rider. That's going to be a real like threat when he gets on the 450 class. But to me, it's not that he changed his riding style. It's the fact that he changed his riding style the way he did and how he did it, and it's been so smooth that a lot of people didn't even really talk about it. And when you're already winning, like I remember hearing, comments, some guys in the media like, I wouldn't change. And I was like, shit, why not? Like, why not? Because if you stay the same, you're losing time. Like everybody else is grinding. You got to think in Haiden or a guy on top. If you don't change, then you're already at the top. So that's where you're at. You want to stay there, or you got to evolve, because everybody else is just copying what you do. And these dudes are pretty damn good too, and they can just figure it out. There's no secrets in this game.